Hey, John here again. So I'm down to my last two machines for the week here, and that one needs a carburetor. That's a Aaron's. I just did a video with a Toro, same thing. It's a 7-horse. Just put a new carburetor. I got no problem with that one. But this one here, this is a 10-horse Tecumseh with a 30-inch cut here, and the fella goes, "Yeah, I think the transmission's bad." I didn't look at it yet, and I just thought it out. So now I can see what's going on. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. And I don't know what the hell this guy did, but look at that. The axle is like out of the bearing cup. So, no wonder. So I got to flip this up to see if the belt's still intact. And so I think the first order of business is to take this belly pan off and see if that belt is still intact, which I seriously doubt after hitting it. Whenever you hit that hard, I can't imagine that belt not smoked. Let's take a peek. Uh-oh, that one's broken. Let's take a gander. Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely off. Well, I thought it would be broke. It's off the rail. I'm sure it's got some smoke, some where it smoked it in half. Let me flip it back up and look at the other side. I don't know how to take that off. Flip her back over. Take this cover off. I can't imagine that belt. It's still good, but we'll find out here. All these are 3/8 bolts so far, anyways. It's a little tricky to get to. Huh. I'll be damned. I don't think it's smoked, oddly enough. Which I can't believe. Must have just got derailed. So a lot of these bigger machines, the 10-horse, 13-horse, whatever, have the dual auger belts. And, which is cool because if you break one, you still got the other. But I went around both of these belts. They look fine. I don't, I don't see any burn marks or anything, but there is an issue with this. You put the handle on here. If you put the handle on, see it'll cinch it up. Although they're kind of loose, it does need an adjustment, but it doesn't spring back up. So either something's tweaked in here, maybe the frame's tweaked, because it's like I said, I can lube this up, but I don't know if it's going to help because you can't get this, like I just see the cable. something's caught in there. And I can pry it out, but so it's either needs a lube. That's not even the issue yet. It definitely needs an adjustment because when you put this on, these belts are just too loose, way too loose. So I do have to investigate further, but at least the belts are good. So now let's go around the front here, and I gotta get some light in here. Let's see if we can get this back in there, see if anything straightens out. And then need be able to adjust that, but I just can't believe this thing's pretty old. But how do you hit something like that and not know anything? And then, this thing sees it's touching the tunnel, So it must have had a pretty big erupt. It ejected the belt, but the shear pin's still there, unless you put one in, but the shear pin's still there, so it ain't the transmission. It's definitely tweaked though, so let me get a light in here. So I guess, before we go any further, take this bearing cup off, see if that shaft is bent, because oddly enough, these are all standard, not metric. Because if that shaft's bent, then we ain't going nowhere. I don't think the shaft is bent, but if it is bent, That's going to be an issue. Why don't you try to loosen it. Something's tweaked. That's tweaked. Oh, see the whole thing just dropped? I thought I was disconnected. Maybe not. Oh, yes. Maybe I'm gonna do it. So I think this fella got lucky. So I got this bearing out, if you want to call it a bearing. It's just basically a bearing cup with no real bearing. It's just made up of plastic parts, good old Chinese, and I'm not gonna, it is a little warm, but I'm not gonna worry about that. So I'm gonna try to cheat the system here and not do take this all apart to get the the proper way to do it. I'm gonna, because it's all bent and tweaked and everything else, I'm gonna try to bend that out and do a little shortcut. But anyways, the way this bearing goes in, of course it goes in like that, but in case you did take yours apart, this little hex fits in the hole. It's in the hole, and then you get that washer goes over the axle. So like I said, I'm going to try to and this is a this little bearing here goes over your axle. You can put that on now. It's a split deal. We'll fit that over, and then that sits like that. So everything kind of just gets pressed in there. But as you can see, we need this much gap, so I'm going to have to spread this tunnel out. Now, like I said, it's already bent and tweaked and everything, and I'm going to have to do some body work here, banging on it, so I don't have a problem spreading that out to get this in, cheat the system a little bit. Put this sucker on. This kind of goes in should fit in that hole. It's in the hole. Yeah, it's in there now. I had to lube it up a little bit, but that collar goes inside. You can see it a little bit there. Presses inside, and then this fella, metal washer, go here to separate the two plastic bearings. As you can see, we're not going to be able to fit that on there, so we're going to have to spread this out by an inch or so. So let me get something to spread that out, because again, I'm not taking this thing's too old. Nothing's going to come apart easy, but to take that impeller off and do all that business, it's already tweaked. Let's push this thing out. Let me think about how I'm going to do it. Probably get a piece of wood and a jack and just tweak her out. We'll see what happens. Before I'm not going to get too fancy here. I'm just going to spread it with a bar. Get up. You don't really want to bend anything. This should be able to. Again, because I gotta fix it anyways. Let's see if we can get her halfway spread out with just a pipe. All right. Good old Chinese. Oh, goddamn. I don't want to get the fall. Watch your hands. I gotta get some safety gloves. This guy missing a finger. Close. There it goes. Because, like I said, it has to, this whole thing has to be bent in anyway, so it's time to go get the sledgehammer. It's just way easier to do that than taking this whole mechanism apart and doing it the proper way. So I gotta get this back in here. I think I'm gonna use a come along, right? You just go from one side to the other, squish it together, and then kind of tweak on it with a ball peen hammer or sledgehammer, or maybe I'll hit it with my truck or something. I don't know, we'll figure it out, but we'll be done here in a second. Alright, so I got a little tension on it, and I don't know if you can see in there. Maybe not. What are we looking at here? That's a little better. So this bearing cup still rotates. It's almost pressed up, so I line the holes up, get the bolts back in, and then we'll suck this thing in pretty good, and I'll start whacking on it with hammers different ways, and this thing will be good to go. You know, close. There we go. There's one. There's one. Yeah, I think the one is screwed. Foobarred. This one is screwed. So, I guess. Bolt looks okay. I guess we're just gonna have to send her down. Oh, that one went in fine. So while that come along's still on there, I can see from here it's bowed here a little bit. Plug your ears. We can let go of that come along, see what happens. Oh yeah, look at there. Straight. Almost on the first try. So now I gotta hold it here. Oh yeah, that came out better than I thought. So now I think we'll just tweak it. Start this thing up. If it works. Alright, let's start this thing up. Fellow says that it runs fine. I'll trust him. There's the Tecumseh. So I know the belts need an adjustment because they were loosey-goosey, but I just want to see if this thing rotates and it doesn't have a bent shaft and get a lot of noise here. So let's see. Primer up. A little bit of choke maybe. Well, I didn't hear nothing. I didn't really see nothing, but I didn't hear nothing. I felt some air coming out of there, so I'm assuming it's run. So I don't know what the hell this video is going to be called. Let's try to adjust the belts. How about that? How to adjust a 10-horse yard machine with a 30-inch cut, the auger blades. Alright, so I got the auger handle pressed down, but that deflection there, that's pretty good. Yeah? So it doesn't even really need an adjustment, so I guess after putting everything back together, untweaking everything, that's pretty good there. You let it loose. You know, obviously, you don't want your auger going, but tighten it up. I wouldn't go too much further than that, but I will show you where the adjustment is in case your auger needs an adjustment. I can't believe those belts made it. Really can't. So let me flip this up, put this cover on first, and flip it up and show you where you can make an adjustment if you needed to. Alright, so I got the belly pan back on, and let me show you how to. So if you did need an adjustment, you just unloosen that jam nut there, and you know, take that in or out. I don't know which way it's got to go, up or down, as far as the adjustment to go to tighten that belt, and that's it. Pretty simple stuff. You might want to lube all this stuff up. The springs, you know, just follow the cable. But let me put this back down, and oh look, this fellow's barefoot, no shoes. I'm not fixing that because it didn't come in for that. Yeah, at least they're worn both. And same. He's going to start getting into this scraper blade, and that's going to be expensive. I'll let him know his shoes are missing. So let's take this outside, see if it'll actually do what it's supposed to do. Let snow. Well, I don't know if I can snow blow because this Like last week we got a couple feet of wet snow down, of course this is New England. Then it rained like the next day, 56 degrees. Then the next day was 16 degrees. You know, so this is just probably just too hard and crunchy. And yesterday we just had a little bit of like a half inch of fluff there. So let me see if this thing will snow blow. It'll probably just go right into that, and it's like an ice bank there. So let me see. Well, there you have it, folks. So this fella's going to be happy. It was not a transmission. It was just a, well, again, I don't know what he did to get into spreading that thing out. And this is the first time I've ever come across this where, you know, the shaft just kind of fell apart because he hit something. But if you have this particular problem, you can see how easy it is. And spreading that thing out was probably the quickest way to go. So this guy owes me like 30 bucks. He's back in action. I'm sure he's going to be happy. So thanks for watching. Catch you next time.